and true love, and the persuasive speech topic I chose was drunk driving. For as long as I can remember, someone has always either died or been killed by drunk driving. Alcohol impairs drivers, forcing them to swerve or not see figures clearly. It's a horrible topic I chose because it's profound and it kills many every year. Every day, 29 people in the United States die in motor vehicle crashes that involve alcohol. In 2018, 10,497 people died in alcohol-impaired driving crashes, accounting for 28% of all traffic deaths in the United States, says the Center for Disease Control. For my previous statement, I am shining a light on drunk driving. It was a heinous act that must be diminished by all Americans if we just do our part. First, I will shed some background information on the topic as a whole. Some things that need to be said is why people get pulled over for it and how they get in trouble for it. Second, I will be talking about an Illinois teen who lost his life because a woman was drunk driving one night. World today. Lastly, I will explain the consequences that come from intoxicated driving. Some information I have on drunk driving is alcohol is a substance that reduces the functions of the brain, impairing your thinking, impairing your thoughts, reasoning, and muscle coordination. All these abilities are essential for you because you cannot function properly without them. The National Highway Safety Traffic Administration. We all know what alcohol does to our bodies, and we all know that driving and being intoxicated at the same time is a poor decision. Whenever you get pulled over, police officers use this thing called a breathalyzer to measure your BAC concentration. Alcohol level is measured by the weight of the alcohol volume in your blood. If a BAC of 0.08 grams of alcohol was in your blood, crash risk increases exponentially. That's completely awful because people shouldn't have any in their system and drive at the same time. That's quoted from the National Highway Safety Traffic Administration as well. Like I said previously, drunk driving not only can harm you, but it can hurt others as well. I'm about to tell you a story of a 22-year-old college student named Michael Collins. The story of Michael Collins is a sad one. He was only 22 years into his life. He had so much more to give the world, but it was tragically taken away because a woman decided to drink and drive recklessly and carelessly. On the morning of March 24th, 2014, Michael and 3 of his friends were struck by a woman driving 134 miles in an intersection. The kids had the green light to go, but the woman smacked into them about 90 miles an hour, causing the driver and one of Michael's friends to be injured almost to their deaths, and it caused Michael to lose his life. One of his friends was in a wheelchair for almost 9 months following the accident. It's quoted by the Quad City Times, a local newspaper in the area near Normal, Illinois. Oh, did I mention that Michael was also a college baseball athlete from Illinois University? It makes this tale even worse because I'm a college student and the reality of it all is overwhelming because it happens to people like me every single day. The woman who killed him had twice the legal blood alcohol concentration in her system, and she received 14 years in prison for vehicular manslaughter, among other charges, including reckless driving and drunk under the influence charge. That was also quoted by the Quad City Times in their online newspaper. Drunk driving isn't something that should be taken so lightly. It has consequences, like many other things in the world. Most states suspend your license for a varying amount of time. It could be anywhere from a first offense of 3 months or a multiple offense of almost 2 years in prison. But while you're in prison, your license is also revoked. Multiple convictions typically equal a entirely revocation of your license. Quoted by State Farm. Also, you may be required to install an ignition interlock device on your car. This is something you have to blow into, or your car will not start on its own. They're just making sure you don't have any alcohol in your system, because you've probably been arrested for a DUI before. That's also quoted by State Farm in their webpage for drunk driving consequences. If an individual is arrested for a DUI type offense, any arresting officers have the responsibility to remove the individual from the situation and get them off the road. What this means is the police can arrest them if they have any alcohol on their breath or if their blood alcohol concentration is above the legal limit. Sometimes, though, depending on the officer, they will take you off the road if you have any in your system. It just depends on where you are and who you're dealing with. This was quoted from alcohol.org website. Today I've discussed with you the topics about drunk driving. I've discussed what it is, what blood alcohol concentration is, what it can do to your body, how it can manipulate you while you're driving. I've also told you the story of Michael Collins and how sad his tale really is. But that's what happens because people do not take this kind of thing seriously. And that's what upsets me the most. I also told you about some of the consequences that come from being intoxicated while driving. It's something that needs to be taken out of the equation as a whole. Alright, thank you for listening to my persuasive speech, and I hope you've learned a thing or two about drunk driving awareness.